welcome to our talent. I'm Juan Carlos Vera. I've taught classical guitar at Miami-Dade College for the past 23 years. You've just heard a performance of Recuerdos de la Alhambra, or reminiscences of the Alhambra Palace in Granada, Spain, by Francisco Tárrega. Francisco Tárrega is also a composer from Spain. This piece was written in 1896, but it remains one of the most popular, and it has some of the nicest music that we play on this instrument. Pepe Romero, the great Spanish guitarist and one of the true giants in guitar history, recalls performing this piece for Joaquín Rodrigo, the composer of the well-known Concierto de Aranjuez, a piece for guitar and orchestra, and asking Rodrigo's opinion about this music. But Rodrigo surprised him by saying that he didn't like it at all. Pepe Romero then asked, "But Maestro, this is one of the most beautiful compositions. Why don't you like it?" To which Rodrigo then responded, "Because I was not the one who composed it," and thereby showing a liking for the piece and also acknowledging the skills of the composer. Speaking about Pepe Romero, Jimena Rodriguez is one of my students at Continuing Education. She's a 9-year-old who has been playing for 2 years, and she has just performed in a master class given by none other than Pepe Romero himself. Master classes, the best master classes, offer students the opportunity to play for some of the best players in the world, and in this case, one of the greatest in history. In a moment, we'll be talking to Jimena Rodriguez about this experience, and we want to hear what this great master, Pepe Romero, considered by many to be the greatest player of all time, what he had to say about the playing of a 9-year-old. Speaking about Francisco Tárrega, the composer of the music that I played at the beginning of the show, Francisco Tárrega was a brilliant composer and guitarist. We're going to be talking in a moment to Marco Smith. Marco Smith is another of my students at Continuing Education. Marco Smith is a 14-year-old who's been playing for 2 years and is rapidly developing into a very talented guitar composer and player. In the old times, when Francisco Tárrega was around, many guitar players were also composers. But in recent times, it's become very difficult to find anybody who's good at both. Marco Smith wants to be a great composer and a great player, and we're going to be talking to him in a moment, and he's going to be performing some of his pieces for us. Then after that, we're going to talk to Alexandria Briggs, who is an 8-year-old who has been playing for over a year, and she's going to play some of the early repertoire, some of the things that students do at the beginning, and she's going to illustrate and demonstrate these techniques that are important to advance to more advanced levels of performance in the guitar. We're going to see them all play, and if you know anybody, if you have a son or a daughter who would like to take guitar lessons, we want to talk to you. You can give us a call. We're going to display our information, our numbers where you can contact us, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. Now we're going to turn to the students. We're going to hear them play, and we're going to talk to them, and we're going to begin with Marco Smith. Welcome, Marco. Marco, you are a composer, and you also play the guitar. These are very challenging things in themselves. They are time-consuming and difficult. Why would you want to tackle both things?
Because composing is my passion, and I've always wanted to play the guitar.
Would you say that what you do is described as improvisation or composition, or would you explain what is the difference of the two, or maybe you do the two?
Well, improvising is when you're making something up, like as you're playing, But composition is when you could improvise to make a composition, but when you make a composition, you put things together. You try to put the best of your ideas together, and that's what I do in my compositions. I put everything I could get that's good and put it together.
Now, in classical music in general, maybe not in guitar, there has been a trend to move away from harmony and melody, and there's been a preference for atonal or dissonant music that turns its back on earlier music. How do you feel about that in terms of your own music?
Atonal music is very hard to like follow. It's not very nice to listen to. Tonal music is more pleasant to listen to if it's good.
Mm-hmm. Do you also use popular music as a source for your own pieces?
I listen to popular music as stuff like rock and jazz
And it does influence you.
It influences me.
Would you describe your experience before you started composing and playing the guitar, your life experience, what the composing and playing the guitar did for you before and after sort of thing? How did it change your life?
Before I started playing and composing, I wasn't thinking much about everything. I didn't think as much about life or everything I do. When I started playing, because playing guitar takes a lot of thinking, I started thinking about more things. And as I compose, I started thinking more creatively.
Does composing require discipline?
It does.
You've been known to practice up to 8 hours a day, and both practicing and composing.
Yes. It takes a lot of discipline.
Which composers do you like? What do you think about Stravinsky?
I think he's a very talented
Rodrigo.
composer. Very talented as well.
Bach.
He's very talented as well.
Great. Now we're going to hear some of these great pieces that Marco has composed, and we're going to see him play. Hi, we're back, and now we're going to talk to Jimena Rodriguez. Welcome, Jimena.
Hi.
Jimena is a 90-year-old student, as I said, who's been playing for 2 years. And throughout this time, she's shown remarkable progress. As her teacher and someone who sees her every week, it's safe to say that she has not had a bad week. That means that every week she comes back better than the week before. The sum of all of these good weeks has led to her appearance in a master class by this legendary figure, Pepe Romero. And we want to talk about this experience with Jimena and talk about the things that Pepe Romero told her. All of this is, of course, a very good omen because Pepe Romero has seldom been proven wrong in terms of his predictions about young players, and he made a strong prediction in Jimena's case. So we're going to talk about that. Jimena, how was it like to play for this great star in the guitar world?
Well, the good part was that he said that he loves how I play, and it was a very good opportunity to say hi to an artist that we never see.
Mm-hmm. Did you get nervous playing for him?
Not really.
Did you know who he was before playing for him?
Not really.
Do you know who he is now? Is he a good player?
Yeah.
Now, in a moment, you're going to be playing two pieces that you played for Pepe Romero, you performed for Pepe Romero. When you finished playing, Pepe Romero said, here we have a young girl who is incredibly talented, who already knows how to play. When this great master says that you, at age 9, that you know how to play, how do you feel about that?
I feel that I have a big sensation. I'm happy playing the guitar. And I can't believe he said he loves it.
Now, the amazing thing is that Pepe Romero said the positive thing about Jimena is that there remains so little to do. He said she has an excellent sense of the musical line. She can automatically bring out the melody in relation to the accompaniment. She has a great sense of balance. She has great independence in the fingers, which means that she will play fast. So in essence, he said there's very little that remains to do. Does that encourage you?
Yeah, a lot.
Now, he also gave you a couple of tips. One had to do with the right arm, the way that we place the instrument on the guitar, and the other one had to do with the little finger, which we don't play with on the right hand. Could you explain what he said to you about that?
Well, he said I should rest my right arm, and you just have to relax. Like, you have to relax this one and put your finger.
And you understood all of that. Now, when Pepe Romero finished, he turned at me as Jimena's teacher, and he said, there is no reason whatsoever why this girl should not become a truly wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guitar playing. Jimena, Pepe Romero is seldom wrong, so that's very impressive. After all of this success, what are you doing? Are you going to Acapulco for 2 weeks?
Just keep playing the guitar.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in and performing. And we're going to hear now Jimena performing these pieces that she played for Pepe Romero. Thank you very much. Hi, welcome back. And now we're going to talk to Alexandra Briggs. Alexandra is an 8-year-old, and she's been playing for over a year, as I mentioned. And she's also an excellent academic student. She's done extremely well, among the top in the nation in aptitude tests that students get. She's also learning Korean from her mother, and she brings all of this discipline to guitar, and she's, of course, done very well. And we want to talk to her about the things that the younger players are doing, what they practice, how they practice, especially in the case of Alexandra, who has so much success in everything that she does. Alexandra, we're going to talk a little bit about the way you practice on guitar. You like guitar?
Of course.
You like?
I love it.
Do you practice every day?
Mm-hmm.
For how long?
Except for like some days where I'm really busy the whole entire day.
Like some days you're
Don't
very
get a
busy.
chance.
When you practice, do you practice several times a day, or do you do it all at one time?
I do it all at one time, and sometimes if I'm really tired, I split it up.
And when you come to a lesson, does your mother take notes of what we do, and so that she knows what we are doing in class? Does she like write the things we talk about so that she knows what to do at home?
I don't think so.
No? She's there and she seems to be writing things. When you get home, do you practice with her? Does she practice with you, or do you just go to your room and practice by yourself?
So it's like sometimes it's all of those things, like, and sometimes it's just like regular, like you just like sit down and you like practice.
But she's telling you, she's guiding your practice. We talk about goals, right? Do we have goals for every song, every piece that we play? How does that work?
That works like say you're like, there's like a thing called a metronome.
What is that?
Metronome is like a piece of like ticks, and you have to play the note with the beat of the metronome. And we usually have a lot of goals of like the beat.
Mm-hmm. And you said we, so that means your mother is with you and she's making sure you get to those goals, right?
Yes.
You don't give her a hard time, do you? You cooperate?
Sometimes, no, I don't think so.
You don't? Well, really guitar can be frustrating, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes it's difficult. What songs are you going to play for us? And what do they deal with? What techniques are you doing in those songs that are difficult? Like in one, you play with more than one finger, right?
Yeah.
Is that difficult to do?
Kind of. If you're like a beginner, it's really hard. But if you're like a little more advanced, it's not.
You have any advice for beginners?
If you're trying, when you do a hard technique, just try to do it in like a comfortable way, but make sure it sounds very.
Have you heard of Daisy?
What?
Have you heard of Daisy? Who's Daisy?
My dog.
Oh, yeah. You want to say hello to your dog Daisy? Over the TV? All right, now we're going to watch Alexandra perform for us. She's going to play 2 pieces for us. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you all for watching the show. We had some very talented students, and we'll be back soon with more students from continuing education. Thank you very much.